Welcome back, fixed blade lovers. This old sword's with you once again. And yep, I've got another small to mid-size, shall we say, fixed blade on the table. And it's my second fixed blade. I'm showing you this one first. This is going to be my second fixed blade from a company in San Diego called Compliance Edge. And it's nice to have dealt with this gentleman. I'm going to give you his name, his first name at least I have in a moment. And that first name is, oh boy. Here we go. His first name is Yanni. And some of you may know that. I don't have a last name, but it is Compliance Edge. So this one I did back in September of 2023, as I have found. And let me get a little more room on the table here. Not that much, right about there. Compliance Edge, and this is the DCK. It comes with, there is also, ooh, it's early, stumbling. There is a DCR with a ring, and this is the DCK. This is a fantastic knife, whether you are working in point up or point down. This works fantastically well. And I waited on this one after I saw a review from Tactical Tavern, from Tomas over there. Does some fantastic reviews in knife juggling, I might add, that I don't do. This one came out with the gray handle and the bronzed Cerakote. Okay. And what Yanni tells me is the bronze Cerakote is covering up something I'm going to show you on this next knife that's brandy new, a new model, just came out and just arrived here yesterday. I'm going to show you something that shows on that knife that you don't see quite so much on this one, but this is a very cool knife. Elephant in the room. A lot of you have written in your comments that you are deathly afraid of this jimping. It's going to tear your thumb up. I have to tell you, it does the job just about right. And while if you press extremely hard, you're going to feel it, these are not sharp. All right? These are not sharp. These are rounded over a bit at each juncture. He does a beautiful CNC machining job. The handles and the blades are CNC machined. He's a one-man shop, and he hand assembles and hand finishes them himself. So again, USA made. We're going to put this one aside for just a moment. All of his sheaths, by the way, are probably amongst the best Kydex sheaths I have seen as far as fit and finish go. They work fantastically well. And your choice of what you want for mounting hardware. I've got a lot of spare mounting hardware, so with that knife I didn't get any. But let's bring out the new one. Grand entrance. Look at this cool knife. Well, by now you may say Ultem is passé. It's overused. I think the knife community jumped on it. One of the first Ultem handled knives I got was the Zulu by D Rocket Designs, Dariel over there, Caston. And it's early, so I'm forgetting everybody's name, man. It's tough getting old, you know? It's tough, tough. Look at this. We're kind of calling it the X-ray model, but this is a Tanto that he has named Copperhead. And I just wanted to show it to you with the sheath first because it is kind of a see-through. You can see the jimping there on the back. But once again, he knows how to make just enough thumb ramp on the Kydex sheath so that, look at that. Fantastic. And I didn't even know Kydex came in translucent. So I learned something. But let's check this out. Look at this Tanto. He has, and by the way, this is Magnacut. And by the way, his Magnacut comes in at HRC 64. For you Magnacut snobs out there, HRC 64. That's correct. So it is hard as nails, as they say, maybe harder than nails. Maybe you can cut nails with it. I don't know. So I wanted to show you this texturing, if you want to call it that, milling. I'm not sure it's going to show up. I think there it is. These vertical mill marks are interesting. They're like a finer version of what you see in some of the grooves that some of the custom knife makers put on there. And I believe it's intentional because the flat here is smooth. This is a natural finish as far as I know. It is not Cerakoted. That's why you don't see it so prominently on these Cerakoted knives, and I am told that they're Cerakoted by Yanni. But he likes the rock pattern. He puts that on a lot of his, if not all of his handles, I believe. One thing he did that was interesting on one of these Ultem handles was he tucked, I think, some 20s, dollar bills or something, folded it up and put it underneath. It made kind of an interesting pattern. Maybe I'll have to do that with 100, and that way I'll, always have some cash with me. He crowns the spine by somewhat of a chamfer along the edge. So there's a lot of handwork done on these. This handle is a bit different, obviously, than the one on the DCK. One on the DCK is meant to capture your hand and also give you a lot of grip with regards to the putting it in a Pical grip. Really nice swedge. I mean, I really do like the Tanto design here, the way he has a less abrupt change of direction here, and you really almost can't see any grind mark here. It transitions smoothly, and it's still very piercy. He put this this transition, this hump here, this secondary point, way back, I feel. So you've got a very piercy point here. Comes through very sharp. And if I can think of it, we'll do some paper cutting tests. If not, trust me that he polishes the edge on his knives. I'm not sure you can see that, but it's a very shiny edge. And I've seen videos of him putting the edges on. He puts a lot of work into that. Here's the jimping, also crowned over, and a really perfect grind. Somebody complained, and I don't want to cast aspersions on Compliance Edge, but somebody in one of the comments on the DCK said he had to return a knife because the grind was off. Well, this is my second one, and I see no issues with the grind. Not to say that person was incorrect. Mistakes do happen, and Compliance Edge will take your knife back if you have an issue with it. He's very responsive. I had a few emails with him the other day. Didn't know the USPS tracking was kind of whacked out on this, but I got it to the East Coast in 3 days from San Diego. That's pretty good, considering they had some storms out there that might have delayed things. Well, let's get some measurements on it, then we'll do some compares. Overall, it is 8 1/4. See if I can get the whole thing in there. 8 1/4, and like 4 1/8. Call it a 4.2 blade with a 3 3/4 edge. Nice big sharpening choil there. Definitely not a finger choil. Sharpening choil, unless you got very small fingers. In inches, and this is a contoured handle, but I'll get it at its widest point. Going sideways there, 0.56. Blade stock, 0.14, which in millimeters is 3.6. So it's a little slimmer in blade stock, a little thinner blade stock than the DCK. And I believe that's going to make it a little more of a slicing instrument than the DCK, which is more of a like a sticking instrument. Knife alone, 3.53, we'll call that. With the sheath, if I can do that. Slippery little devil. 4.125. I'll mention two things here. And if I just bash the mic against the camera, forgive me if it makes noise on your end. The fit of his sheaths, astounding. I think this guy and Auxiliary Manufacturing make fantastic sheaths on some of the best sheaths on custom knives that I've come across. And I am calling this a custom. You know, it's an in-house CNC shop, one guy making the knives. He's using some automated equipment to turn some of them out to make some volume. And he keeps coming out with new models and he hand finishes them. So I'm going to call that custom, if not completely hand ground, okay? So that is just completely tight, but not so tight that you can't pop it off, and it takes just the right amount of effort. Also, the ergos are really nice. So I said that was like a point, what I say, 0.55, 0.56, but you can see that it is contoured, nicely rounded. And Ultem is not slippery. A lot of people get the wrong idea. This is kind of a frosted Ultem. It's not highly polished, but it has a resiny type of, if you can hear this. Hear that? Kind of a resiny kind of feel, kind of like you put rosin on your hand. That's the right term. Completely comfortable, completely controllable. For me, a knife has to look good, it has to handle well, and it has to perform. And I haven't had it long enough to tell you if it performs extremely well, but from everything I see, it is super lightweight and got a lot of steel removed in the middle that you can see right through there. And these will come off with Torx. These look to be about maybe a T20, T25, something like that. Nice hefty Torx screws. And he doesn't yet make extra handle scales, but perhaps at some point in the future he will. He does make extra sheaths. If you need an extra sheath, you lose it or you want a spare, he does make those. Let's do some compares like I said I would. Taking a little longer here than I wanted to. There it is with the DCK. And I would say it's right on there, the same length. I don't know if I can lay it on top. Let's see. I'm going to call them the same. I mean, hairbreadth difference, if anything. Here is another one of my favorites. This is the Carl from Auxiliary Manufacturing. And the Carl's a full 4-inch knife. It's just a skosh longer. I'm looking at the tabletop and not through the camera, so if I pull it out of frame, forgive me. Yeah, we're talking the Carl's maybe 1/2 inch longer. Somewhere in that vicinity. Beautiful knife. This one with fat carbon. Got a special name for that fat carbon, but I'll tell you, this is one of the best feeling knives. A little heavier, a little larger. And here, another one of my favorite customs, RMJ Unmei. A Japanese-inspired design, as is the Copperhead. Right on the same length. Everything. Blade, handle. And that's a beauty out of Magnacut as well. Also, a high HRC Magnacut, I think, in the same 63 to 64 HRC range. Beautiful contoured handle. A lot of 3D milling in this handle. And what else? Oh, how about against a Civivi? Civivi also makes excellent sheaths. I'm sorry, it's not Civivi, it's Sencut. Is it Sencut? Yeah, Sencut. This is the Waxahachie. And as I was saying, Civivi makes some very nice fitting sheaths. A little bit of rattle there, but if they thumb off nice, that means I can drop them right in my pocket, provided my pocket's deep enough. So there's the Sencut Waxahachie. A little shorter by maybe 3/4 of an inch, something like that. Probably one of the best budget fixed blades you can find. I think, what do they make this out of? 9CR. Comfortable knife, a lot of weight relieving in the handle there. So once again, the Copperhead. I was watching Bob DeMarco's Thursday Night Knives show last night, and Dirk Pinkerton was a special guest. And Dirk says that fixed blades are really only accounting for about 20% popularity of all knives. So I guess most of us are carrying those knives in a pocket on a clip. But I feel that this is a fantastic alternative as a collectible, as a user for sure. Feels great in the hand. You could do point down, but edge out. It's going to be a little more comfortable than edge in, but you could do edge in if you had to. I know there's a lot of you out there that do like your small, pocketable fixed blades, and I would consider this one. You're talking about $380, so it may send you running, but again, it is, I think, falling into the custom category. This company and Auxiliary are both making knives coming in right about at the same price point, with a lot of variety and design. So what can I say except, if you like this video, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.